Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the RCC PLodcast. We are back for a new episode. It is episode 22, and we've got Freddie, Jamie, and Scott with us tonight, and me. And we're going to be picking apart. Someone did a very good race just recently, so we're going to be picking apart Scott's Berlin half marathon. But how is everyone before we start?
Good. I'm good. I've had a dodgy couple of weeks, I think, since we all last spoke. I've been down with a bit of sickness, and which has meant I've missed my last two longest runs for my marathon training. And I'm kind of in that predicament at the moment where I've started taper, but I feel like I'm already a week into taper after having a week on the sick. And I guess I'm asking some advice for you guys actually while I've got you here. My longest runs that I haven't done, should I go out and squeeze it in now while I've got time, or should I say forget it and just taper?
I have an opinion, but I always have an opinion.
I didn't manage to hit every long run in my 20-week training block last year for a marathon, but I was told not to cram it in and just adjust accordingly and make sure you taper more importantly than the actual long runs. Now you'll have done enough in your legs if we're only 3 weeks out, 4 weeks out, 3 weeks out.
19 days.
And it should be a 2-week taper anyway, so you're only like missing a week's worth.
I think you shouldn't maybe do more than like 13 to 16 mile as your long run now. I just think otherwise they tell you not to try and bank miles you've missed. Otherwise you might have too much fatigue in your legs. So I don't think there's anything wrong with doing a long run this Sunday, but I wouldn't be doing like 20 miles or whatever. I would let you start, especially as you've been ill as well.
My plan tells me half marathon.
Yeah, that's what I would have said. I haven't not run one, but I know that's how it dropped down even for ultra training. Like, I think it was 16, 13, and then like 8 or something like that the week before.
And your HRV's been messed up, hasn't it, for 2 weeks now?
Yeah,
and if I've learned anything from Jamie talking to me about HRV and VO2 and all that malarkey, I know you should listen. When your HRV's low, you do need to chill out.
Yeah.
Mine is back to normal this week and last week for the first time since my ultra. I'm back.
Great news.
Nice.
I'm like right in the middle, balanced again after it being like through the floor for like forever. What feels like forever. I feel like now I'm actually healthy again.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Go on, Jay.
I'd be sensible.
Well, I actually really agree with Kaylee. You shouldn't catch up with the 32 or 34k runs. That's stupid. That's not going to do it any good. But I think you should go out. I mean, your plan says do a half marathon. I mean, that seems fine. I mean, I was going to say, like Kaylee said, 16 miles, whatever that is in K. Because mine this week is 29k. And I've been doing 37, so it's like, 8k less. So that would about marry up with, I think, with where yours would have been. So I would say, I'd say 21 to 24k, I think would be pretty spot on, but I certainly wouldn't go out and do 30. No way. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to help you anywhere apart from make you tired.
Yeah. I was only really worried because I missed 2 in a row. You know, and that was where I was like, the 2
It's better to be 10% undertrained than 1% overtrained.
Right, decision made. Thank you, guys.
There you go.
Simple.
Catch us next week.
How's everybody else? Yeah. Go on, KP.
You done any races recently?
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was to Scott, but I mean, I know you haven't because you've done your ultra.
Oh yeah, I did do it last week. I did.
You did. You did the evening one. Oh, and please tell me about this and what happened. I'm very interested in what happened after said race.
What? Because I got pie and peas.
Yeah, those peas looked incredible.
It was unreal. Do you know what it is? I don't even eat pie, right? But there's just something about that pie. It's the best pie. It was like packed with steak and the peas drizzled over the top. Oh, it was unreal. But I actually loved the race. It's one of my favourite races. For anyone that doesn't know, it's a muddy roads race in the northeast, and they're really like accessible trail races for everyone. But obviously, there's like speedy people like at the front as well. And they're only about like, I think it was about £13 to enter, and you get your pie and peas as well.
Oh, right.
But it's such a good night, and it was lovely weather, and it was trail, so I was like in my element. I loved it. I think I was like in zone 5 for the whole
I
race.
was about to say, did you race it hard?
I didn't go with the intention of running hard, like flat out hard, but it's quite up and down. So I was zone 4 and 5, but it didn't feel really uncomfortable. It was quite a nice hard, if that makes sense.
Like
It wasn't,
tempo, sort of like
yeah, kind of tempo reaching in a
the threshold.
yeah, more threshold, I would have said. But it was really good fun. So I didn't get a medal, but I did get a pie.
Oh, who cares about medals when you get pie and
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
mushy peas, wasn't it?
put this in the bin now.
I know. I mean, it's not a pie, but So no, I'm not going to talk much because, to be honest, I haven't really done much. It's been mostly social stuff. I did that and then a challenge at Shields, which was quite good fun. But the rest has been I've just had a nice week of running. Right, like on Sunday, I went trail running with my friend Chris, and it was just really nice, like to aimlessly run. We had no distance in mind, and we just went for a run and a coffee, and it was lovely. Really nice.
You're going to do the
And we-
heart and soul as well, aren't you? You're going to do the trial run for those guys.
Yeah. Well, I haven't actually messaged them yet, and I need to speak to Rachel. But Chris totally forgot he's in Leeds that day, so we've paid to do it, but Rachel wants to try and do Alnwick Park Run before, which is also going to be a bit of a squeeze. So at the minute I am, but I might be getting there on my own and running the first few laps on my own. So I don't know. I need to speak to Rachel, but hopefully, because I was really looking forward to that. We were just going to see, not take it seriously, just see how many laps we fancied on the day. Like, obviously, I'm not going for any big goals or anything with it. But yeah, I was looking forward to that. So hopefully it'll still be going ahead. But we're all entered and round to go. I'm going to see if Chris can come and do he's not leaving till that day. So I was going to see if he could come up and maybe do half an hour and then he can just go.
Yeah.
But I'll keep you updated on that. But anyway, let's go to Jamie before we go to Scott's race.
Yeah, because Jamie's got new PB news to tell us.
Oh, yeah. Well, I raced 10K on Sunday, and I hate 10Ks with an absolute passion because they're awful, slightly worse than 5Ks. And I was going to run it at a sensible pace, and we all knew that probably wasn't going to happen.
Oh, you weren't. We had WhatsApp conversations earlier that week, and all of us said, you ain't going to go easy on this.
Well, I mean, yeah, it was the most insane start to a race I've ever experienced. It was kind of like, if you've ever raced a Zwift race, it was like that. So off the start line, there was, I don't know, about 8 or 10 of us, and the first kilometre was 3:15. I can't explain to you how awful that is. That for people who are running miles, that's like 5:20 mile pace. It was just, and you could hear that everyone around you was just dying. It did settle down into a more sensible, a slightly more sensible pace of 3:40, 3:44 pace, which is considerably more sensible than 3:15. Just so we know.
That's not sensible for me personally, but yeah, it might be for you.
But it was on trail as well, so it was pretty wild. And yeah, it was good. And there was some chap last year. I stuck with him, and then eventually I got dropped on the last couple of K. I just couldn't. I'd had a really heavy week of training for London, and I'd done a big long run 3 days before. It's my excuse. But yeah, I've got a 5K PB, which is 18:12, and a 10K PB was 37:28.
Awesome, mate. Well done.
Well done,
That is brilliant, that.
Very well done.
Cheers.
And you were in the local paper because you shared a photograph earlier.
Oh, yeah, I'm in the local paper. I'm in there.
Freddie, can you ping that up at this point for anyone watching? Can you put a copy of that over the top of this video?
I don't know about that. I got my son's in there as well because he did the kids race. Actually, my whole family did the race. It wasn't just me. It was my wife ran the 10K as well, and she did an hour and 4. She was very happy with. Especially as she's done this is pretty much zero running recently. So she managed to smash out a 1:04. She was quite happy, and my kids did the 1.5K kid race each, and they were very happy. And everyone got ice creams at the end.
You're going to get them notches, is that right?
I've already ordered my notches. It's coming tomorrow, actually. So I've got my 5K PB and 10K PB notch coming because I don't see me beating them anytime soon. Because I don't like 10Ks. Saying that, I'm entering a 10K race series over the summer, quite possibly in the evening. It's via my running club, so I know how that's going to end up. That's just before the E word and South Downs. So yeah, but good fun. Good fun. It'd be nice to know how fast I could go on a road course without 120k in my legs as well. So I wonder if I can go that sub 37.
I'm wondering what you could do on a track at that distance.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I was redlining like the entire time in that race.
Yeah, but it was trail as well, man.
It was probably half trail, and one of the bits of trail was quite technical. They had like big routes that were like marked, and I'm running in Vaporflies, trying not to twist an ankle or something. And the corners had like these really tight, like 90-degree corners round. It's actually where I live, but it's like one's a full-on hairpin on gravel, so you're trying to go around and not break your neck. I'm sure you know what I mean. Like running around a cone, or like park run. It was just like that at full-on race paces, as you guys are aware. It's quite hard, especially in high stack shoes. Yeah. So, but anyway, my thing's boring. I'm more interested in your thing.
And Scott,
go on.
I was just going to say, before you start, don't rush ahead to say how you felt at the end. I want it all.
Yeah.
I want it from the beginning
and
to the end.
I've got questions. And I want the questions answered because I genuinely don't know the answer to them.
Okay. So I'll go back to why I booked it at the beginning. So I discovered last year when I got turned on to running and stuff and started going down the rabbit hole of finding races and stuff, there was a series called the SuperHalves, which is aimed at people that aren't really going to make it into the elite category that want to do the majors, but they can still achieve something quite significant by doing this series called the SuperHalves. It's 6 half marathons: Cardiff, Valencia, Lisbon, Prague, Berlin, and Copenhagen. And you get, from the day you start the first marathon, you get 5 years to complete all 6. But because this series seems to have ignited a fuse in millions of people across the world, everybody's finding out now that they can't access the races. Everything's having to be done by ballot because it's just the market's been flooded. So they've, as of about a month ago, SuperHalf announced they've relaxed the time frame now, so there's no deadline. So you've got as long as you want to do all 6, which makes sense. So anyway, tried for Copenhagen, didn't get a sniff. Tried for Berlin, got in straight away, and that was nearly a year ago. So had that booked, decided to offer it out to my running buddies and people I knew that were into running, and everyone was, I think I whipped up a storm, and you know what it's like because we share a WhatsApp group. FOMO is real. So when someone suggests something stupid, we all jump on board, and then reality hit that it meant trains and planes and hotels, and it's not cheap. Like I keep going back to on you guys telling me running's a cheap hobby. It's really not. So fast forward a year, and as we all know, because I've talked about it loads, I jumped on an airplane on Friday, just me and my wife, because everybody else that had got places had to pull out for various reasons. So I thought, well, I'm still going to go. I want to do this. It's been on my radar for a year, and I really wanted to just experience running abroad, to be fair, and get a bit of how other people do it, how their organisation run races and stuff. And I don't think I could have picked a more efficient organisation than in Berlin, because it was incredible from the minute we landed. The expo was on the Saturday morning, so all the numbers have to be picked up in person with your passport, and you go to a huge conference centre on the outskirts of Berlin. So we jumped on a train. Trains were brilliant, dead easy to navigate around the city and stuff. And to be fair, I ended up just following the other thousands of runners heading in the same direction to this random complex on the outskirts of Berlin. So I get to the expo, and it was a running nerd's dream. Absolutely anybody that's anybody, and it's an interest in running, had an exhibition stand there, and you could buy everything, absolutely everything. Hoka, Saucony, Ultra, you name it. they were there, but then you also had the tech guys like Garmin, they were there. Peloton had all their kit set up with people demoing it. Mercedes were there doing running kit. I didn't know Mercedes did kits like that, but they did. So yeah, it was a total, and it was free entry as well. But the best bit, really, which I think the British big races could learn from, is the city's welcomed thousands. There's 44,000 people doing this race. The city welcomes all these people from, I think there's a good 2/3 of them are not from Germany. At the expo, every one of us got our, like a ribbon around our wrist that was semi-permanent, so you couldn't unbutton it or anything. And that got you free public transport for the full rest of the weekend. So you could get all around Germany, all around Berlin, all weekend, because you're running the half on the Sunday. It was absolutely fantastic. Bag drop-offs, amazing. Just so straightforward and efficient. And I know it's a bit of a cliche saying the Germans seem to be very efficient, but I've seen living evidence of that now. So I know where that comes from. So Expo was done. Spent a small fortune. I got the official SuperHalf's t-shirt. They had a stand there. You go and get your passport, your digital passport stamped. Get your photos taken in front of their boards. Adidas were the main sponsors this year, so I think I sent you a picture, Freddie and Jamie, of the Adidas wall. All the trainers, the super shoes, Chris has got, Kaylee, they were there. But every kind of brand and colour set of all the elite trainers were all there, and you could buy them all. The official Berlin half t-shirt was an extra. And I wanted to get this one because on the back of this, it's got the map of Berlin and Berlin on the back. So I'm going to get one for every. My plan is to do them all. And I'm going to get one from each one from the SuperHalf brand rather than the actual race because the medal says I've done the race. And I did get some really gaudy, bright yellow socks as well to go with the bright orange Puma Deviates that you gave me, Freddie. I ran in them. So that's the expo side of things. Then we jumped back on the train, back into town, and I thought I'd go and check out the start and finish because it's a loop, and you start just past the Brandenburg Gate and you finish in the park about half a K beyond that. So I thought we'll go and mooch around that area, see what it's like. You wouldn't even know there was a race happening the next day. It was completely normal, like tourists around, politicians at the Reichstag. It was just a normal day. Really nice weather. Weather's been gorgeous. I'm assuming it was nice here as well, from what I can see on the news and stuff. So, got a feel for the start. Learned where the trains go off, and again, brilliantly planned. But there is their subway. It's called the U train. It stops literally 50 yards from the Brandenburg Gate. So on the morning of the race, we hopped on at Alexanderplatz, which is where we were staying, and it's right in the middle of Berlin. I don't know if anyone knows, but they've got the big tower, the Needle. Alexanderplatz runs alongside that. That's the centre of Berlin. Main train station there. Jumped on that. 4 stops and popped out of the ground at Brandenburg. Wife went and decamped in Starbucks nice and early and grabbed some snacks and stuff. And then I wandered off to the start. So that side of things, you couldn't plan any better. Honestly, it was a runner's dream, considering I was quite anxious about where do you go, the whole process. You just couldn't be any easier. And I read the emails that were spammed with prior to it, but until you get there and you're navigating and trying to read train monitors and stations that aren't in English and things, and you take it for granted that everyone speaks English, but some people don't, and the language barrier is there. But as soon as they're seeing the red armband, it was like, oh, you're running, you want to be over there. It was dead easy. All the anxiety went, and I'm really looking forward to doing the others now based on this experience. Now I know I can manage, I can navigate.
You missed out a little tiny detail which I thought you might have mentioned.
Go on.
Somebody spotted you at the expo.
Oh, yes. So, yeah, we got into the main expo, and all the runners were kind of shepherded to the right to get the bands. All the guests that they'd arrived with that weren't running were like asked to move around to the left and wait away from them on the barrier. And I went through, there's 3 ladies there chatting, and they stood in front of me and they're chatting about glycogen levels. And I said, oh, have you ladies, they were obviously English, and I said, oh, have you ladies smuggled in some jelly babies? And they're like, why are the banned? I was like, they were deadly serious. I was like, no, I'm only kidding. I'm just asking, have you smuggled like jelly babies in that work a treat? We got chatting, and then they said, I had the Freddie Runs hat on, and they're like, Freddie Runs from YouTube. And we're like, yeah. She went, you guys interviewed Ross Noble, didn't you? And I was like, yeah, this is weird. And they're like, oh, we've heard of you. And we've watched Ross Noble do a few ultras now. I mean, we caught him on the podcast. And then I was like, yeah, that was my podcast. Yeah. And they're like, oh my God, this is brilliant. So yeah, we did. We got spotted. I think it was your cap that introduced the conversation, but it was surreal. I come out of there and I messaged you and I said, I think we've just been like spotted in the middle of Berlin from three ladies they were going for, I wish I'd have got the names, but they were lovely as well. I was chatting to them for about 20 minutes in the queue. They were going for like 155 and a 210. One of the ladies had never done a half before, so she was her first ever one. And the other lady was a bit more experienced and she was obsessed with the Barclay. So yeah, she knew all about Jasmine Paris and co.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. It made my day because I was no one around to brag to, and I was like, I'm gonna have to message Freddie.
That's so cool. That you travel to Germany and that happens.
Yeah, honestly, and it was within like 5 minutes of arriving in the expo as well. So, yeah, one of those, another weird moment that running's given me that it's just not it's bizarre.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've arrived, checked in, got my number and stuff, checked out the area. But then this is where, so there's been some very, very good things about this whole experience. And then I've let myself down a little bit from the preparation choices I made as opposed to how I would have done it at home. So the Middlesbrough half with you for a full week, ate correctly, did everything right. Did a very light park run on the Saturday morning, pretty much did nothing else for the rest of the day. Fueled right, electrolytes and water and stuff. Get to Berlin. Don't want to miss parts of the city because we're here all day on the Saturday. I managed to clock 15,000 steps. I ate a chocolate croissant. I had no water and like 18 cups of coffee all day. It was, and then we got back to the hotel and we said, oh, I'll get some pasta at the hotel for dinner. Hotel kitchen had closed by the time we got back. Started to order an Uber Eats, and the options were pizza or gnocchi. So I had a plain bowl of gnocchi because I thought carbs, potato, pasta. So I had a plain bowl of gnocchi. Again, I had a bottle of water from the petrol station next door, and I was like, "This is bad. This is not good." And I couldn't vlog all this to you guys because I thought you would just tell me off. So I kept this quiet until I see you tonight, but. Made the most of it. I got up next morning, thought I'll go down and get some breakfast. We're too early. So I went to the Starbucks at the Brandenburg and looked in the glass counter and I was like, right, I can have an Americano with no milk, a bottle of water, and then I had a slice of banana bread and banana oat and seed bread. And that was all I had before the half. And I was gutted. I knew I was in trouble because I really, really thought I'm going to smash Middlesbrough's time today. This is. I've got Jamie's 885 strategy in my head. It worked for me in Middlesbrough, and I did that with a smile on my face. And I thought I'm going to smash this. But then the prep, and I slept terrible as well. I was excited. I woke up at 4 a.m. Swear on my life, woke up at 4 a.m. the morning of the race, and in my head, I'd already done the race. I thought I'd run it, and then I realised I woke up. I was like, oh shit, I haven't done the race. So bad night's sleep, really bad fueling and prep. My feet were killing me. I really contemplated as well ditching the carbons and wearing the Adidas Evos because they were comfortable. I've been walking in them, but because I've done so much walking in Berlin and seen a lot of sights, it was like a really bad heavy shopping day, and you don't want to run a race after that kind of madness. So I went in there thinking, I've screwed up. Before I'd even crossed the start line, I was thinking, I've screwed up. I'm just going to enjoy it now. And then get to the start line in my group. And again, perfect. You show your number. There's only one gate in each side of the path. You start in the big, massive plaza. There's one gate in each side. They make you show your number to make sure you're not jumping ahead. So you go into the pen that you're in. I was in pen D. So A, B, and C were the elites, and then it was the 135s to 145 group next, and that was me. And I said, I want to do 145. My head's racing already, thinking, I'm just going to enjoy it now. Don't worry about the pace. And then about 10 minutes before we start, it's like, do you remember that scene in Monsters Inc? And they open the door and it's slow-mo and there's all the big monsters come out to, like, they're like the gods.
Yeah.
They did that and all the pacers came out in all immaculate Adidas uniforms with all the race flags on them, and they all came out into the pens. And this big bugger stood right beside me with 145 on his back, and I thought, it's a sign. I've got to stay with him. I'm going to do it. Forget all the nerves and all the anxiety about the fuel and stuff. I'm just going to stay with you, mate. So, yeah, we're up to there. I've got 3 gels in my pocket that I bought at the expo that I've never used before. How do you pronounce it, Freddie? You're on them now.
Morton.
Oh, you went expensive.
Morton sponsored this race as well, so they were that's them. Yeah, they look like the Apple Store of gels. Their expo stand.
Yeah, because they are.
So I got 3 of those in my pocket, and I've got 3 of them. I had, what was in this side? Oh, some like wine gum chews. Lewis has got me on. They're really good. In this pocket, headphones on, and I thought, right, let's just knuckle down, get the sleeves rolled up, and just stay with this guy as long as we can. And honestly, that's exactly what happened all the way around until I had it in my head, Jamie. I had you in my head saying, give it all you've got for that last 5K. And I thought, right, as soon as I hit 17 and I get that out of the way, this is it. Just like, go for it. And it was going so well. And my splits were bang on. And I was like, because his flag actually said sub 145. So I thought, if he gets me around in 144, I'm marrying this guy. So I honestly come round to the last part. We come past all the major sites, and the race itself, flat as a pancake. Anyone wants a fast time, get yourself there. That city, built for running. The only gripe I had, and I was telling Mom, he asked how it went, and I said the only gripe I had was it was that busy. I was crossing like the 15K mark, and I was still getting my ankles clipped and having to weave in and out. It was like the Great North Run, but with a narrower street for the full course. But it was pancake flat. So there's if you're quick enough to be in the front 3 pens in the elites, you're going to get a quick time. For me, it was a little bit tricky, and I did get clipped a few times and nearly went flying. But it was just a good experience. And then we got to 17, 18K, and I started to feel like my legs were giving up. There was like, I didn't feel like I was bonking. I just thought, this is harder than it needs to be. This feels a lot harder than Middlesbrough. And I've not spoke to anybody all the way around this time. I've not been laughing and joking. I've genuinely been focused on this bloke's flag. I managed to get that last Morton gel down, but that I was hanging on for dear life not to throw up. I've never had that either. Normally the gels don't bother me. I can get them down. And I've seen all the memes and GIFs on Instagram of people struggling with these gels. That was me. My eyes were like watering. I was trying not to look at people so they couldn't see me barking on the side of the road. I kept running, and then I went to scoop up a glass of water, and I ended up throwing that over my face like the pilot out of Airplane. So I missed the water, didn't get any in, but I managed to like shower myself. And then when I looked up, by this time, he'd gone. The guy, the 145 pacer, there was probably about a 40-second gap, and my heart sank. Like, I was like, it's not happening. At that point, it was, again, another one of those memes. I was like, come back, don't leave me. And I just couldn't stay with him. I genuinely tried. And came around the corner, and then I got a little bit of a spur on again, because the end was through the Brandenburg gates, and the atmosphere was fantastic. That's the other thing. The people of Berlin supported that run. The full course was 2 or 3 people deep, both sides of the road. I don't recall any sections of it where there was nobody. It was just constant. But right near Brandenburg, it was like crazy cowbells and people screaming and signs up and everything. It was fantastic. So that spurred me on a little bit. I got that endorphin buzz. And yeah, I crossed the line. So Middlesbrough was 146 1:07. I did this in 1:46:37. So I was 30 seconds slower than Middlesbrough on a flat pancake lake, crystal like flat lake level surface. And but I've got myself to blame because of I think it was the strains of long distance events. Like ideally, I think I should have gone on the Thursday and had Friday and Saturday to get myself ready for it. I think one day was too much.
Yeah, if you remember when I did the Great North Run, the day before that, I flew back from Belgium.
Yes, you did, and you had a nightmare of a journey.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. I think there's two obvious things there that's happened to you, isn't there? There's the travel with all the walking the day before, and then cocking up your fueling strategy.
Yeah.
That's probably what, when you've had that gel at the end and your stomach couldn't handle it, that's probably because you got it wrong earlier.
Yeah. Honestly, it was a brilliant experience. There is so much I've taken from it and so many lessons I've learned from it that I will put into practice for the next one I do. If the next one is not the Cardiff one and it involves plane travel and hotels and stuff, I've got a strategy this time. But I've learned from this. I mean, I was 30 seconds off. I'm still happy with the time, you know.
I think when it comes to international racing like that, I think you've got to look at it in a different way. It's not necessarily about can I get a PB compared to what I did in a local event. It's international. It's an international event. That's about soaking that up, isn't it? And making the most of that opportunity of being somewhere totally random.
Yeah.
Running a half marathon with 40 odd of 1,000 people.
Oh, it was such a buzz. Like I kept running around, and at moments I kept thinking, how cool is this? Really, like middle of the roads in Berlin, completely shut down for the day, just all about the running. And it was such a buzz just looking around and thinking, this is not your everyday run. This is cool.
Yeah, times are irrelevant. So to be, even if you consider your 30 seconds is nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and actually, if you'd have realised that 2K beforehand, you might have been able to make that up. But so what?
Yeah.
I have so many things I want to add to this. Am I okay to jump in before I know you?
I feel like I've talked forever there.
But just as a comparison, I did London Landmarks, which is where my PB is, which I know is not international, but a similar thing. Like the day before I raced, I think I did 30,000 steps, but that was like because I was in London. So like even the bare minimum, you're still walking from tube stations and stuff. But I think from experience, I think it's more your fueling than your steps, because I was so particular about my fueling when I did London Landmarks because I was staying somewhere else. So on the Friday, I went down on the Friday and the race was the Sunday. So Friday night I had like a Wagamama's or something, like so I was a bit more relaxed on the Friday. I think I might have even had a cocktail on the Friday, but just one. But then Saturday night I was like extreme. I was like, right, I'm having spaghetti bolognese, I'm having garlic bread or something like that, something carby, loads of water. I had a big bottle of water. I'd walked loads through the day, but I was like, I want to be in bed early. And then I got up on the morning and had a porridge pot, which I took with us. So they were serving like Premier Inn breakfast, and I was there like with me like scroungy little pot of porridge, pouring the hot water in, like I was just tight and wouldn't pay. And like I've got a carrier bag and I'm putting like bits of banana in and bits of nuts in because I wanted everything to be how I'd practiced.
Yeah.
And that's obviously it's still my half PB to this day. I ran 1:46:41 there. And I ran 1:47 last year at the Great North Run, which is obviously a hillier course.
Yeah.
So I think if I did it again, I could probably go under what I did, but it was the same pan flat. It was just twisty. But I think it's probably your fueling and, like you said, the dehydration from travel more than the steps, because you're someone that has done long stuff as well. So you've got experience in it, and you're like, I don't think the walking would have affected. So I wouldn't be hard on yourself with that. But I think half of it was probably because you'd stood on the start line and went, well, I've nearly swore that. You know what I mean? I think you had that in your head before you set off. Like you almost, which we all do it. I'm not picking on you for it because I've done it.
No.
But you almost give yourself the grace to kind of feel at it before you've even tried. And like I've done that so many times in a race. And I think sometimes it just has to be, it's just the luck of the draw. Sometimes, like Freddie said, it just has to be perfect on the day sometimes. But if you take all that out of the equation, like if I'd never PB'd at London Landmarks, I had the best day. It's the best race I've ever done. There was choirs on the course. It was like you saw every landmark in London. People were shouting of you. Like, apart from the fact that the atmosphere is better at the Great North Run, because I just think you can't beat that for a half in the Northeast. Like, it was, for what you saw and the people that came out, it was unreal. So I think exactly what Freddie said. Like, you've just got to just be like, right, well, I was 30 seconds off my PB, but I had a blast and I was underfueled. So what you could do if you were properly fueled, like, just goes to show. The other thing is the Morton gels. I've never used them, but Chris uses them. And apparently, correct as if you know different and I'm wrong, but they bypass your stomach, so they go straight to your intestines. So they're meant to be more gentle for people who struggle with gels.
Right.
The reason I've never tried them is the texture. I think the texture puts me off.
They're really thick. It was like glue, like a really thick, gloopy. Yeah, it was nothing like I've tried before.
Yeah,
So DZ, I've got the drink mix, drink mix 160, and I said to you the other day, Scott, in a WhatsApp group, these haven't really got any taste. You just mix it with water, but then it looks like. Do you remember when you were at primary school and you had the glue paste?
PVA stuff. PVC.
It looks like that. It looks like that, and because as you're drinking it, you see it, and it looks like that, and then it goes down, and it's thicker than water. It's not like a milkshake or anything, but it's thicker than water. So it is a bit more for me. It's psychologically, it's difficult to drink, but otherwise, it's dead easy on your stomach and that, like you say.
Only at least they're all taking that bicarb now. So Martin do a bicarb mix where it looks like that, but like worse. So it's like glue. I've seen on loads of YouTube videos, and they mix it up in a little pot and like drink it before, like half an hour before their race or something. Because it's like, Jamie will know because he is super fast. When you're super fast, it's like another marginal gain that people are doing. So I've got friends who are like, "Oh, I'm going to try bicarb," and I'm just like, "Really? Like, are you more thorough?"
I haven't gone that far, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not putting my back foot. But like, it's like I want to take a second off my PB, so I'll just get on the bicarb. Like, it's like the beetroot shot stuff that everyone was taking before. Like, but anyway.
You know, I watch a guy called Matt Haslam on YouTube. Matt runs 18, I think his YouTube channel's called. He's a bus driver in Manchester. He used to work on building sites.
Yeah,
you know the guy.
He's a monster,
big muscular guy.
Big guy.
Yeah. Well, he's just done like I think it's 5 or 6 months. I think 6 months of like pure dieting and really going for his training. Been really, really super strict with himself, and he is ripped now. You can see he's just dropped so much size, bulk, and he's just really ripped. And he's like, he's just done his half marathon, and I think he might be a PB, but it was something like 125.
Yeah, he knocked out a 120 something. Yeah, I've seen the video.
Yeah, and when you look at, I mean, he's a muscular guy. It shouldn't really, in my eyes, it really shouldn't be that fast when you're a big, heavy, muscular guy, but he is. And he basically said on his video that he goes on about bicarb this, bicarb that. He says no, he basically used water, you know. And I don't know. I don't know if it's just what you're used to or what, but I don't know. Bicarb seems a bit of a stretch for me.
I would have. Go on, Jamie. Sorry.
Well, I was just being. I've run reasonably quick half marathons, and I've never actually heard of bicarb. Like, I've never even heard of it. And I ran my fastest half on one gel, and I did feel like I was going to actually pass out at the end because I definitely unfueled that. But it was one gel and one sip of water, like at the halfway point. And I'm not saying that was a great tactic, but you live and learn. But I've genuinely, before we've had this conversation, never heard of bicarb. Apart from for like baking or something. Like.
Yeah, it's only because I watch like YouTubers that are like sub-elite level, like, or like touching on like becoming elite, and they're all about the bicarb. It just makes me giggle. I just think like to get that much, to get a second, it's like, and it's really expensive as well. Like, I can't remember someone I know was on about it and on about getting it, and I was like, it's so expensive. Like, I'll have to have a look after this, and we can update on it on the next podcast. But I'm sure it's like insane for like one tiny little portion of it as well. It's like the one about the super shoes gives you however many seconds. It's like the next step for the elites. They're all taking bicarb now. This is the new trend. But I don't know. I think it's all about what you used to, like you said. Like, I think you need to learn what works for you and work with that. I think everyone jumps on these trends, but honestly, if I had to do like a beetroot shot and then run a half, I think I'd be found in a gutter.
Yeah, not for me.
No.
I don't think all that stuff like really would start to make that much of a difference, and with the things like very structured training wouldn't address unless you're getting down to like 1:10 half marathon pace, where then you really are like clutching at straws to like get faster. And that's not downplaying anyone's half marathon time, because I am also in this group. Like, it's just a case of consistency is the key to get faster for pretty much everyone, and then it's mileage, and then it's structured speed work, and then it's whatever.
I'm on Morton's website right now, and on the website you have to put in your experience level, your weight, and then you can go off. You have a minimum dose and a maximum dose.
I mean, this is
If
more though. I mean,
No.
you know, did you have to put in your mortgage before you went on the website?
Honestly, you get a box of 4 servings.
Yeah.
Is 60 quid.
I told you it was expensive.
I can swivel, like, not a chance. There was like, I got a kind of funny story about some bloke I know who raced an Ironman, and they were sponsored by Morton. And Morton gels, for people who don't know who listen to this, they're like £3 something each. They are insanely expensive. They are good, but they are stupid. Like, I'm way too tight to do that. And they were serving Morton gels on this race, and he's gone around and he's just gone to every aid station, just stuffed them in his jersey pocket, and he's come back with about 100 quid's worth of Morton gels. He's just dumped him in his bag at transition.
I just got a real good deal. I got a box of these. You get 18 in a box, but for 23 quid I got them with a discount. I don't think it was too bad. Yeah,
that is actually.
And are you using them now for your long runs and stuff? So you're used to it.
I am starting to now. Yeah. I've used them twice so far, but I'm going to use them a little bit now. So 18 will last me from now till the end of the race.
That was my first experience of them. I'd heard of them and I've seen them because we're in this world we live in now, but I've never actually tried them. But because they were the main sponsor, it was everywhere on the circuit. There was 4 or 5 gel aid stations, and then there was a mix as well. It looked like beer, but it was Morton mix in a glass. They were handing them out, or a plastic cup. They were handing them out as well. It looked like a dark beer, but it clearly wasn't. But I didn't want to try that. The way I was feeling, I was thinking, if I get this gel down, just let's get home to get back to that finish line. But yeah. Which brings me on to, sorry, I did have a point to all this. So I did prep well for Middlesbrough, and I did the same as you, Kaylee, and I had a porridge for breakfast, peanut butter, loads of water the day before, electrolytes, perfect. And I did a 1:46:07. If I had the same experience and prep for Berlin, I know for a fact I could have gone sub 1:45. So I've decided I am going to sign up for that runner app you use, Freddie.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get myself a coach in my lugs, and I'm going to set myself a target to do a 1:40 within the next 12 months. I want to do it properly.
You're going to book a race to target?
Yeah. Well, I find out about Copenhagen today, actually. So if I can do it there, I'll set that as my target. If not, I'll book another flat half. But I'm going to use the runner app, because I just run for joy of running. I don't have a plan. I help James, as you know. Cole mentioned that I seem to run with everyone socially, but I never run for myself. So Middlesbrough, I ran for myself and did what I did. And I'm thinking, I might actually be all right at this if I put my mind to it. If I follow some kind of official program and do what I'm told, instead of just winging 5Ks every week. So yeah, it's kind of kicked my ass into like, why don't you give it a go? I can do it. I know I can. I've just got to structure some kind of run. I'm still not overly enthusiastic about a club. It's probably a good thing, but this runner app, everyone I speak to seems to have good things to say about it. So I decided,
I've got a couple of things I'll add there. Make sure you use my code. You get 2 weeks free. But it's funny, you mentioned
the description.
You mentioned
YouTube, was there?
But you mentioned clubs. I've just left my club.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, it goes from the 1st of April, I believe, right? So we've just done the renewals, but I emailed them to say I'll not be renewing.
Right.
and it's not because the club did anything wrong. It was fine. When I did go, I enjoyed it, and I really genuinely did. But I found that particularly now, when I'm taking my training a bit more serious, and I'm using the runner app, which is telling me what to do on what day, it just doesn't go in time with what the club's doing. They're doing different types of runs on different nights than what I need, so I had to prioritize either the social aspect of going to a running club, or just concentrating on my training, and I chose my training. So I wouldn't overly worry about a club if you are looking to use the app.
I was looking at the review as well. Sorry, Jamie, go on.
I was going to play devil's advocate, that's all.
Yeah, go for it.
Because I 100% with Freddie with that. But I'm also a member of a running club, and I have just renewed. But I pretty much never go to the runs in the week. Well, a couple of reasons. One, we've only got one car now, and for example, my wife is working tonight, so can't go anywhere. Two, there's like I say, a few reasons. One, you do depending on how much it is to go for your club, because when you sign up for a club, you sign up for first or second claim. And if you only got one club, if you first claim, so you got a main club, and then you have the option of signing up with, I think, England Athletics or British Athletics, wherever it is, I can't remember what it's called, which basically gives you insurance, and it also gives you discounts on sport shoes, which is really useful, by the way. So I've saved way more than my club fee on shoes from sport shoes, because it automatically applied at the checkout on your login. You just got to give them your England Athletics number. Regardless of that, though, I do find it quite fun for races, though. So there's like lots of unknown races that the clubs tend to know about, or there's like only club races that can fall in with your like schedule, especially like sort of that 10K half marathon distance. Not so much with like the marathons and stuff, but like I just messaged in my club. I was like, so when's what we're doing in the summer? What's going on? So like half marathon races, and I've signed up for some half marathons with the club because I want to. I'm going to go for another PB like towards the end of the year at the half, and also it's just quite fun, like chilling with the club and doing stuff like that. But I don't really go to the club runs because of that. And you do get, there's different clubs that do different things as well. Like my friend's club, my mate Nick, he's a member of quite a big club in Basingstoke. And they've got a lot of like elite level runners, and they have like specific track sessions like for this. My club does not have this. My club's way smaller. So you can get that. But I just joined to like have bants with the lads at some races, and it's quite fun just turning up some of the races and, running in club colours sometimes. I didn't actually run in club colours for my recent race, but there is that advantage. But I totally agree, because with Freddie, my stuff doesn't align either. Like I tend to train in the morning, and club runs are always in the afternoon. And I do sometimes train twice a day, but there's never just like the run that I want to do, with the speed I want to do, with the elevation I want to do. And because my club's quite a trail running club. So I do completely get that. I'm also like a bit of an unsociable hermit, if I'm going to be honest.
Well, do you know, there's another aspect. It's on Andy Maguire. He recently changed clubs. So he was in some local running club, and now he's gone to an athletics club. And they do seem to be quite different things from what he's saying. His training now is coming on leaps and bounds. Like he was talking on a podcast the other day, and he was saying that the coaches they understand who he is, what he's trying to achieve, how he should maybe do it, and they're always watching all of the athletes and giving them pointers and whatever else. And I think a lot of running clubs perhaps don't do that, because it's more of a social. Certainly, the one I was going to was more of a social run club, but this is more of an athletics, really focused on performance. So I guess there's somewhere in there. There's the right balance, right, between them.
There is. There's also. Oh, go on.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I think mine sits in the middle. So we're not as extreme as, so in Sunderland, there's lots of clubs, but there's only 2 affiliated clubs. So there's us, Sunderland Strollers, and then the Sunderland Harriers. And all the really fast runners go to end up at Harriers, where the Harriers always say to us at events, they don't have the social bit right the way we have it. But we don't have we have people who coach sessions, but we don't have like a dedicated coach at the minute. Like people are training to coach, but I think the issue with sometimes with the super fast club, I'm not like singling out Sun and Harriers, by the way. This is just in general now, like, because I do know people who run there as well, and it works for them. But I think the issue with a lot of like athletics clubs and that sort of thing now is the singling people out, because I think I've just said this in an Instagram post actually. The traditional, very traditional clubs can be quite elitist. And I think now you've got so many social run clubs that people are choosing that over joining a traditional run club. However, as Jamie's just said, with a social run club, you haven't got the insurance benefit. Like if you have an accident, where do you escalate that to? Whereas an all club structure, to be EA affiliated, you've got to have all these things in place. So, and we're doing the change in the affiliation as well. So they're making it harder for clubs to be affiliated. They've got I know all this because I'm on the committee of my club. So there's lots of things that's got to be in place. But I think if you can find one that's somewhere in the middle, like ours is, you'll be looked after, but you'll still have fun and you'll still progress. Because I went there, I've been at Strollers for coming up 6 years, and my running came on leaps and bounds. Like I was running, we separate hours from APAC to EPAC. So when I started, I was running in DPAC, and the first session I did, I vomited. Like I was like, oh my God, this is like so hard. And now I run, well, at the minute I'm running like the front of C, but I'm usually between C and B pack. Whereas Chris is like A, super fast. Like A are like a really solid type fast pack. And the progression model is still there, but like Jamie said, you get your discount, you get your EA affiliation, which by the way, if you get it through a club, is cheaper than if you go direct to EA to be affiliated, which is baffling. And you get all those perks, and then you get all your discount from races. And yeah, club days are so much fun. Like, and you wouldn't get to do like cross country. Like I love cross country, so that's the win for me. You have to be part of an actual affiliated club to do cross country. Relay races, like the really good club days where you just, if you can take I guess the running sometimes ends up being the bit that you don't want to do, like the social aspect and cheering each other on. But
the relay races are they're fun. I did my first relay race for a club last year, and that is pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. There's like 10 of you, and we basically did the whole of it was actually the Race to the Stones run that I did, but it's like it wasn't Race to the Stones. Obviously, it was called the Ridgeway Relay, and you just do your bit, which would be like 6 miles, 10 miles, whatever, however far it is, and you've got to get there as fast as possible and give the baton to the next person, and then the first person in from the team at the end is that's the winning team. Oh, it's so much fun. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on you not to go wrong, especially doing a relay race where it's along a trail like mine, because you don't want to get lost. So, but yeah, like Katie said, because my club we sound very similar, like our clubs. So my club's the same, because there's a couple of us. There's a few of us who are like really quite quick, and then most people are average, and then you've just got like very casual people in between. Because there's an athletics club near me as well. Like, I'm not going to name them, but it's like right near me. And I don't know. I was a member of like the triathlon version of it when I used to do triathlon. It's something about like that super structure and the club nights. It just really puts me off. I can't explain it. Like I hated turning up doing this master swim session and then the track running. It wasn't very fun, and I felt more like a job. Whereas now it kind of feels like a bit of fun.
I agree with that. I think with us and Harriers, like I say, it's no disrespect to Harriers, because I've got friends that run there, and I know it's structured. They have a structured track night, whereas we just have we get use the same track, but ours rotates, so there'll be a different pack on club night. We'll use the track, so it's like you're running with people of your pace. But we have also got an hour on like the night before where anyone can use it from our club for that hour, and they'll put set sessions on. But they go on after us, and theirs is very structured, like their track night, but they don't have the club session as well. So sometimes some of their runners might come and be second claim and come and run with us. Or so I think knowing people that run there as well, like there's lots of benefits to running there. Like you said about Andy, like I've listened to that podcast. If you want to be super serious, it's perfect. But for me, that would be too much pressure. Like I like there's a bit of pressure. And for me, it was like, from someone who wasn't very sporty when I was younger, that like the first time I ran a relay for my club, I had so much pride putting a club vest on and running and representing. Like, and yeah, my time wouldn't have been as good as like anywhere near as good as our fast runners, but there was something really special about like wearing club colours and being part of the team, because when I was younger I wasn't sporty, so I didn't have any of that. And now I'm ladies captain now, so I try and encourage everyone to run in club colours and come and do an event, and irrespective of time, because I think that's such a special thing to be able to do, which you might not get. I think we've gone off on a tangent here because I know you were talking about runner, but
No.
I think
I want to.
there's still a lot that's really special about club running, which I think sort of gets overlooked now with.
So into that, you just mentioned about the pride of running in club colours, right? And that, if I'm really honest with myself, and I wasn't going to say this, but I haven't mentioned the club that I was a member of, so I'm not going to name them. I know you guys probably know. It's the club colours. It's the whole thing around the club colours. I don't mean the actual colours, although they're not very nice colours. I will say that. But we would get messages, and I this maybe says more about me and my personality. I don't like being told what to do. Right? It's just that simple. Do not like being told. If you tell me to do something, I'm probably going to push back against it, whether you're right or not. And we would get emails from the club saying, guys, we noticed a few of you entered X race this weekend and you weren't wearing your club colours. You must wear them for the next event. And I'm like, okay, now you're telling me what to wear. Now I'm not going to wear it. You know, it's that simple. But also, £45 ago, the biggest top they did was quite small for me. You know, and I also think of that when you're more of a social running club where you have people that look a bit more like me in that club. Not to say everybody is, but there are a few of us, and you don't cater to a top that fits us correctly, and then you tell us off for not wearing it. It's kind of like, and for me, as trivial and as small as that might sound, it was one of the triggers for me not to renew.
I remember lining up for a race with you, and there was somebody from your club there, and you were in a RCC t-shirt, and you were generally paranoid. Yeah.
I was asked about that race.
Yeah, you were paranoid you were going to get told off because you didn't have your club jersey on.
I mean, that's
exactly.
I mean, that's pretty wild. I mean, I've done actually most of my races I've not done in club colours. I did race Wokingham in club colours, and I raced a marathon in December in club colours, and obviously there's the relay in club colours. But I have a different reason why I don't run in club colours at the moment, and it's nothing to do with actually, like, because I am quite proud to represent my club, because it's genuinely rad people that run it, and they're super chill. Like, they do not care. And a lot of, especially the fast runners, they don't run in the club colours, and the only reason why, this is going to sound ridiculous,
not good enough.
Yeah, the vests are they're not great. As in they're quite, cheap vests, whereas I run in, if anyone knows, I now run in SOAR vests, which are stupidly expensive vests. And some clubs do actually allow you to get them ones.
Yeah.
But you got to put in a minimum order with them, and they're only £100 each. They're stupid money. But they're so nice to run in. I'm not going to go into a whole thing about them, but they are a different thing to run in. But I put my club vest on, it feels like it's like putting on a lead backpack now. And you get so hot, it gets so sweaty. It gets so heavy. And if there's a load of us running, I'll run in it. But and it's just no disrespect to them. If they ordered them from there, I would definitely run in it for every race. But I know they won't, because there's not enough super serious runners in the club. But the guy who he did I can't remember what race it was. It was a miniature version of the Northern Traverse. I can't remember what it was recently. And he ended up getting second overall.
Alex Traverse.
It might have been that. He was second overall and first in Vet 50 Old Boy Club. And he just ran it in his race black t-shirt. And he's been a member of the club for 20 years.
Yeah.
So that's ridiculous. Your club's doing that. That's not acceptable. If you want to run in a pink tutu or something, crack on, mate. You should no way be told what to wear. That's not acceptable.
I just need to be clear. Just need to clarify. I'm not calling everybody in that club fat, by the way. I wasn't.
I don't think anyone assumed you were.
Probably getting himself cancelled today, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just want to also caveat that with our club wouldn't make you do that either, because sometimes when people have been injured and they're coming back, they won't wear their vest. It's choice. You can still enter as a stroller and not wear your vest. But the only time where you have to wear them is if it's a club event, as in like a traditional cross country. You have to have club colours. You have
you
to
have.
match
I think
it.
that's stated in the entrance, isn't it? That
Yeah,
you have to
and
wear like your
so-
club colours. But that's different because that's like
Yeah.
inter-club racing. 'Cause that's
Yeah.
a different
But
story.
other than that, like I've done it before. Like I was really poorly and I did a trail race and I just wore trail kit. If I ran my ultra, I didn't wear any strollers kit. Like they're very lenient on like what no one would ever pull you up and say why you're
Yeah,
not
but
wearing it up.
I mean, if you think about it in another sport, right? It'd be like, and now then, anyone who watches football, I don't. I know very little about football. Let's say we've got some footballer who plays for XYZ team. If they're turning up to, have a go in their local five-a-side because their mates are doing it or whatever, which arguably happens, they're not going to turn up in their full Chelsea kit or whatever, are they? They're going to turn up in like, whatever t-shirt. I mean, they might do, but it's very unlikely. I mean,
There's a name. There's a name for that kind of person.
I already know what that name is because I come from cycling and I already know exactly what that name is because in cycling world it's very well known what that name is.
Is that the one that starts off with full kit?
Yeah, right. Full pro kit and then ends in another
rhymes with banker.
thing. Yes,
Tanker. Yeah.
Yeah, when you get to the whole of Team Sky going down the road, there's a bunch of 50-year-old like fat blokes.
Yeah.
Just rounding off the club thing though, I do think in Sunderland we're quite lucky because we've got the choice of either you run with the Harriers, with the athletic club, you take it super seriously, or you're still serious about your running, but you want more of the social side as well. I think the split's good, and I think years ago there was a bit of a rivalry there, and now it's like a bit of friendly banter, and it's quite nice. Like I think we are quite lucky, but there is a lot of that where I think in other places I've heard of clubs before where they're like won't let you join unless you run a certain 5K time.
Oh, that's ridiculous!
Wow.
Unless you're like, it's
a lot
like
of the old really traditional clubs. I don't know which club, but I have heard this before. Where my friend years ago was trying to join a club, and she's just a park runner, like a 30-minute sort of 5K, 28 to 30 minutes, which is still it's still a very reasonable and acceptable time. It's a great
Above average.
It's a great 5K time, and she tried to join a club near her, and they said, right, if you don't run sub 25 5K, you can't join.
That's wild. See, I want to turn up and run a 17-minute like 5K and just be like, I'm not interested now.
Yeah.
just to wind them up. Yeah, I'm just like, I want to go with the underdog just to upset you.
I think it's dying out that now. I do. I said this today. I did a post about this just yesterday or the day, just saying how I think club running gets knocked sometimes, but actually I think it has evolved, and a lot of clubs now are a bit more like friendly with it and stuff.
Do you know, I've seen a couple of YouTube videos of people at parkrun or they'll enter an event. I think it's been parkrun, and there'll be a person, and I won't name the channel, but the person who videoed it is a fast runner. And I remember in his video, he's like, "Oh look, some club runners have turned up today. I'm going to destroy them." And I was like, "Okay, cool, but just because they run for a club doesn't mean they're going to be amazing runners."
Most club runners are, I'd say, above average is in terms of the general running population, but they're of not an elite pace of any terms.
Yeah.
Like, so that's a ridiculous sentiment. Like, like I sometimes turn up for my park run in the club vest because I just go for a run in my club vest, and it's not
right.
And I generally I've never raced a park run properly ever, and I've never raced a 5K ever. But I sometimes turn up in the club vest because I'm just in my club vest. Like like sometimes I go for a run just in my club vest. Not that often, don't get me wrong, because you do look a little bit like a. It's a bit weird because when I used to. Okay, we're gonna get off this topic in a second because we're dragging it on. But like in where I came from in cycling world, you would always wear your club kit. Like pretty much always, I would always wear my like sponsor / club kit on every ride. Whereas in running, you pretty much never wear your club vest unless you're racing. But anyway, I just wanted to quickly get off this topic.
I want to go back to the Berlin Marathon quickly, Scott, and ask you one more question.
Go for it.
Anyway. I mean, you've spent the last hour sat there looking like a plum with your medal around your neck. And I'm just going to ask you now, we've got a whole stream of medals behind you.
Yeah.
If we're going to put them in a rank somewhere, where does that one sit?
Oh man,
Is it
And I
above
mean that on twofold. I
Is
mean
it
that in
above
twofold.
Manchester?
I mean that in twofold. I mean the medal itself, take all the sentiment out of it, but as a medal. But also, what does that mean to you, and compared to some of the other ones?
I think this is probably third on the list. Manchester was massive because it was a marathon, and I never ever thought the state I was in, mentally and body wise, I was not ever going to do a marathon. And when I finished that was like, it was like sounds horribly cringy, but it was like being reborn, and it was like, this is it now. This is the new me. I'm going to push on from this. I want to be a runner. That will always be number one, unless something major happens along my running career between now and becoming a pensioner. Endure, just because that was something that was just crazy. Never ever thought that was in my locker, never mind the marathon. It's just a great experience overall. And this one, just because it was bloody cool, man, to run abroad. Not many people, my dad ran all his life. He never ran outside of the UK, you know. This is only me going into me 2.5 year now, and I've got a plan to do 6 half marathons around Europe. It's just cool.
So you're going for that. I actually, there's someone in a completely unrelated WhatsApp group who has the all 6 done.
And
now,
the big medal.
And the medal is
Class,
like a
innit?
dinner plate.
Yeah, Kelly,
like,
you will love it when you see it.
It's honestly like that big. I was like, what is that?
Some people handed them out. There was obviously Berlin was their 6th, so they were getting them on the day.
Yeah, that's where they got theirs
thing.
from, Berlin.
Massive, absolutely.
I bet that
huge.
really like lit a fire up you.
So it was in the cabinet at the expo, and my wife was like, do you want to take a photo of it? I said, nope. She was like, what? And I went, I want it to be a surprise. I know it's there. I can see it from a distance. I don't want to go over and inspect it and take photographs. I want it in my hand when it's mine, you know?
I totally get. I never understood this thing, like, really, with, do all these and get this big medal. And now I've actually looked at it myself for the marathon distance, because it's the Abbott's Marathon Majors. And you get like the 6-star, which I think is actually going to be a 9-star medal, because there's more majors. And I'm looking, I'm like, might have to start actually having a go and trying to get these, because this is going to be pretty sweet, because that looks so cool. And you get like a little thing each time, and I'm like, oh, I've got to do it. I'm going to be broke for the rest of my life.
Someone at work who I know is trying to get into running, and he started about the same time as me. And then it didn't happen for him. He had a few setbacks, and he sent me a message the other day that actually was like, it was just weird to read. It was about me, but he said, going forward, Scott, I need to be more like you, and just to take on the challenge. You've just gone out and bought the T-shirt and jumped in with both feet, and you just keep picking these things off and smashing them. And I was like, he's absolutely right. The old me would have thought about why I can't do that, why I shouldn't do that. That's a bit too far away. That's too ambitious for someone like me.
Out the comfort zone.
Yeah, and like started this, met you lot, just keep going with these competitions and running and entering all this stuff, and I love it. I've never thought twice about it, and it just snowballed. It keeps snowballing, and I'm all in for this. Like,
we've just entered a race for next year. I don't think we've spoken about that on air.
3 things I want to bring up. One was how class was the RCC social run, and Mr. Pickersgill joined us for, because someone else had to pie us off. She was busy.
I was trying to spread the reach across the country.
That was so much fun. That there was, and then me and you have entered something rather stupid, and we haven't quite got Kaylee on the hook yet, but we've got a year to work on her, which we'll come back to. And the one thing I wanted to mention, as a proud employee of the NHS, we've just hit 1,000 GP practices now are recognised as parkrun prescribing practices. So you can go to your GP and they can prescribe your local parkrun and link in with them. And I'm actually working with Wynyard now to get my practice, because my GP is a park runner, and she loves it, and we run at the same park run, and I'm trying to link them in with our practice now to get them signed up. But I think that's massive going forward, like getting parkrun involved with GP practice and social prescribing and all the benefits it comes with. But yeah, I just want to get that in before we switch off tonight. And the other thing was this stupid thing me and you have signed up for. I'll let you explain.
I think this
Yeah, well,
apart
go on.
before we go. I don't think you should rush this. I think this needs picking apart. So if people are running or they're still listening, you need to listen to this because it's crazy.
Well, this is your fault, Scott, to
No.
be fair. I mean,
The driver for it, you said, and I'm not going to reveal it unless you want to reveal it, but you have a milestone next year and you want to do something big. So I found this link and I just passed it over and said, oh, there's an idea. Didn't say go ahead and do it. He's a gun against your head.
no. Are we mentioning it now?
It's up to you.
I mean, you build it up now. You can't like. Oh, let's just talk about it briefly and then leave everyone for 2 weeks.
I'm
We can
gonna
cut this
find the
bit out.
message. While you're talking about it, I'm going to find the message that they sent me to drop that in and my response.
I was in the group when the discussion happened, and it was a very weird discussion because it went from definitely not to I've just spent XYZ on XYZ.
It did turn around really quickly. So I turn 50 next summer in 2026. And I always said, and I've said this before in videos, that for my 50th, I want to be able to run 100 miles. Or before I turn 50, I want to be able to run 100 miles in a wanna. And the idea actually was always to do that at Endure 24. And that might still happen. Who knows? But Scott found an event called the Castle to Castles. Remind me who it's by?
Rat Race.
Rat Race Castle to Castle. And it is Bamburgh Castle to Edinburgh Castle, 100 miles. And it's quite a new event. I think it was just started last year, was the first one. It sold out in something like 3 hours or something stupid. It's on again this year, and they've just opened it up ready for next year. They've opened it up really early. Scott sent the link over and was like, oh, guys, look what I found. And this is the really cool part, is there's a 48-hour cutoff. So it's basically been designed so that you can, if you want to, walk it. Was it 2.5 Ks or 2.5 miles
2.9 miles per hour. If you walk it, you can do it. It's basically walking pace, isn't it? It's 20-minute miles, yeah.
Yeah, which to me, initially I was like, no, absolutely not. And then about 3.5 minutes later, I think I sent a text saying yes. And then about a couple of hours later, when it opened up or whatever, we signed up to it and off we go. So yeah, we'll be going into that July.
Yeah,
July
nice and hot.
2026?
Nice and hot for a 100-mile ultra in the middle of nowhere.
But there's how many of us are doing it? Is it 3, 4?
3 confirmed. Kaylee's at 85%.
I'm not even close to 85%. I'm not even considering it. So I got a message saying, with a picture of the race, Kaylee, you've been summoned by me and Freddie 2026. It's on. And then Will Ferrell doing this, right? And I said, no thanks. 100-miler in July, I'll wilt. And then Freddie said, we don't quit. And I said, it's not quitting if you don't start. I said, 2025 is my big running year. 2026, I'm retiring and taking up. That was my answer. That's not 85%. That's not even 8.5%. It's a hard no from me. Thank you very much.
So
We've got time.
I'm hearing there's a chance.
There's a maybe. Yeah.
Jamie needs a passport to get this far north. But
problem is I get nosebleed going that far. It's a problem. Cars don't drive that far from here.
I'm going to argue with you here, Jamie, because I'm coming down to your neck of the woods soon.
Yeah.
But I'm going up to your neck of the woods 2 weeks afterwards.
Leeds is not our neck of the woods.
That's not our neck of the woods, mate.
That's
the north.
The missus was actually legitimately moaning the other day. Like, it's going to take us ages to get up there. Like, it's like a 5-hour drive.
I'm coming down to your neck of the woods, and I'm not even running. I'm coming down to
We are running 2 things when we're down here, actually.
That's fair.
We are running a loop of Reading, and we are doing Newbury Park Run where you're going for a PB, you told me.
That's correct.
Loop of Reading. Reading's quite
and
a
I'll
big
pace
city,
you at, and you said you want to pace you at 3-minute 55 pace all the way around, and the last one at 8-minute pace.
Yeah, just like that. Yeah, but no, that's your excuses are all gone, mate. They're all none and void, because I'm coming down to your end to Marshall, So I think there's still places left.
But we need to.
Yeah.
The problem is we need an exchange thing going on here, right? Because I've not booked my 2026 season except for the marathons I plan on doing, which I haven't actually paid for yet because they're not available. But if I'm going up there, you guys have to come down here for a race, and I do have some in mind.
Ultras.
I think my earphones have died. Sorry.
Oh, that's convenient.
That was convenient.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you don't have to do ultras. We could do just a little casual 50 miler. Like, there's. But in all seriousness, you got like when you're training for a 100 miler, a good race distance to do is 50k or 50 miles to actually build up to the 50 to the 100.
Kaylee, have you been
training.
vaccinated against the South as well? Do you fancy this?
Do you know what it is, right? You're all forgetting that you're way more experienced in this than me. I've done 133 miler, and like it's such a big training commitment. I can't go and race half-assed. Like I'd need to train for like 20 weeks or something to do 50 mile. Like it's just too.
We're giving you.
Yeah,
We're giving you a year and 3 months.
No, but I can't then race anything else. I have to just be all in for this.
That's no. You can definitely do like you can train for like you can train for like half at the time, and then you kind of like might as well stick in a cheeky mazza like in there, and then and then basically the ultra is just cake stops with some light jogging in between.
Jimmy, I couldn't even eat when I've had my ultra.
Oh, see, that's where your training's falling over. You've got to learn to eat all the time.
In summary, it's a hard no. I'm not coming. I'm going to find new friends that don't do as quickly. Do you know what, right? I would never rule it out, but I've already got an idea in mind of an ultra that I want to do next year, and it's not a longer distance than what I've already done because I just need the confidence of doing more at the same distance. Like it's different because you've done endure. Sorry, I've said the clang word, but like with that, you've got the safety net of you looping to the same place. You're not going point to point and like dying in the middle.
100%.
Like, and I think until I'm in a position where I feel like I can do that, like I'm also a bit funny about races. Like when you race with people, if you need to stop or slow down, this is why I like to race on my own because then there's not the added pressure of if you're feeling crappy. Like you have to, I'd feel like I was holding people back, and like I don't like that. So yeah.
Did you just basically agree to do Endure 24 next year?
No, I did not.
It sounded like it.
Well, the issue I have is I've got no one to look after me dog. So I'll have to stay.
Yeah, and even if our lovely Kaylee did agree to it, you two are not going to be doing it next year, are you?
Yeah, because you're going to be doing Bambra.
Yeah, you like that would be. I mean, I'm doing something stupid this year. We're doing them ridiculously close, but out of choice, I wouldn't do that because, yeah, I think that would be if you're going for 100. Don't do endure. That'd be a stupid idea. I don't think I as someone who's done 100 miler, I can't explain to you the level of trash you are afterwards.
We did put in the group the other night because Fiona asked the question of us, does this mean we're not doing Endure 24 next year? And I don't know that we directly answered it, but I think it probably does mean that, to be fair.
If you want to do the 100 miler, I would say it's borderline stupid doing Endure.
We could go as a group of Marshall for them. Volunteer.
Yeah. But yeah, we could absolutely. That'd be a really good laugh. But also, I would say we could still run it and do a 30 miler.
I think if I'm being honest, and this is why I'm going like in all seriousness with the other race, I think you should definitely sign up for at least a 50k, and ideally a 50 miler, 6 to 8 weeks out. Before that's what I did. And that worked really well. Like you do a half marathon before you do a marathon, like in your training block, you tend to race a half. You kind of want to do that. Also, you don't really want to do endure because endure is a different type of race. It's going around in loops, whereas navigating and doing a point-to-point race or something like that in ultra terms is very different. And I think it's getting used to doing that because with endure you do have that safety net, and you want to take that safety net away. And get used to doing some of that. So, like, you got the races down here, like the Centurion races, like, the North Down where you want 50 or whatever race series you go for. So I like it. I won't tell anyone what to do, but I think you should do that. I think you should just skip endure. And this is
I think
from
you're
someone who would like to do it.
Yeah. I think you're probably right, and I think that's kind of where my head is. To be fair, it's the 100 mile is the target. So if Endure was in April, maybe, but it's not until the end of June. So it's too close.
It's too close. You want to do a 50 in May.
Yeah, but Scott, great shout. We could have a weekend away, going to do some marshalling down there.
Yeah. I'm happy to.
Yeah.
On that note,
Then you get the free race entrance, and you could do a race entrance to Race of the Stones then.
we won't carry the credit, couldn't we?
I was just going to say, I'll quite happily come and cheer you on in your 100-mile race. At one point, I'll come and laugh at you when you're struggling.
You could pace them. I wonder if you allow paces. In all seriousness, I wonder if you allow paces at that race. It will say somewhere if you are allowed paces or not. And usually you can have a pacer from, because in the race, the South Downs Way 100 I'm doing, I can have a pacer from, I think, 50 miles this time. Depends on the race. Some races don't allow them. Race of the Stones didn't allow pacers, for example. So Kaylee come pace you, because when they get to 70 miles, they'll be unhappy.
Come on, meet us for a shandy in Edinburgh Castle at the end.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what you guys look like at the end.
I'll come and
I can't wait. You're going to feel amazing and then feel awful immediately afterwards. It's going to be great.
really selling this to me, like I'm just like, no.
Oh, I just remember feeling trash for like 6 weeks.
Right, let's leave it there.
I feel like
we promised ourselves we'd only do an hour, and we're at an hour and 21 now.
I know.
So,
well, I blame you lot. You're making me talk about running.
Are we going to see you, Freddie, before Manchester or not? Do you think we'll get another episode in or not? Because if not, I'll say good luck.
I'd like to. It's 19 days away, so we've got plenty of time if we want to try and get a couple in. We'll maybe put some feelers out if you've got anyone you could think of that we'd bring on as a guest. If not, we can just jump on and have a pre-Manchester chat as well.
It might be good to do it as just us, because we'll also have Jamie's pre-London, so that would take a full episode if you're pre-Manchester and Jamie's pre-London. But unless there's someone you want to bring on, obviously, I just think when we get going, no one will get interest.
I've already got full on paranoia. I don't know what I'm going to be like in like 2 weeks' time. No. Everything's slightly hurting now.
But no, we'll definitely get something booked in for the next couple of weeks and get another one of these banged out. But everybody at home that is listening to this, thank you very much. We did promise ourselves we'd get to an hour. We've managed an hour and 22. So apologies, but if you're a fast runner and you're on a half marathon, you might be near the end of that right now. So keep going and give it that last little push. But no, really good to see you guys. Really great catching up. And for everyone listening, thanks again, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.